Remember the first hard disk 350 MB. The mainframe had 4 MB of RAM and the computing power was 2 MB or 4 MB of RAM. And the whole factory of Xerox was running on that. Cloud has actually brought down the cost of experimentation also, because on the fly I can get more computing power. I don't have to go and indent for a computer, negotiate, get it, and then tomorrow I find I've underestimated the whole thing. IT has become an innovation driver because sensors are being everywhere and we are the ones who are deploying them, using them and getting the data back to the analytic team. Well, let's put the IoT in a little perspective. This is how we ran IT. If it's a traditional company, take this out, the three top layers. This is a typical hospital setup. This is actually how we ran a typical IT setup. We would put the backbone, we put on the backbone security, and we were done. And if it was a hospital, we would put these 3 layers on top. We would say we are state of the art. This is passé now. This is changed. And this drug database continues to be the backbone today because doctors in their own gung-ho want to prescribe medicines which they want to overdose or underdose. So we have to warn them. So this I can't live without. This is kind of becoming history because everything is moving to the cloud. And security has become far more complex than it was earlier. We don't know which hacker, where he's sitting in the world on the internet and hacking us. Yesterday they said Poland, today I saw somebody from Lucknow trying to hack my account. So the first attempts we all made on IoT, as usual, ambulance, because ambulances around the world today are still run like we're running a mortuary service. I'm sorry, but that's how we treat the ambulance, although we put in the latest gadgets. But the thought process is patient ko leke jana hai. Not that we want to bring the patient happily inside so that he can be minimally treated and sent home. That thought process of that old system, because ambulances historically were run by mortuaries, not hospitals, hasn't changed much. And ER as a practice started in 1980, so it will take another few decades to change the thought process, not the process itself. So we put some gadgets into the ambulance so that we get a mobile medical room kind of to get the patient in. And it had a satellite link. Satellite links, those days were the only way to communicate before mobiles came in. Today that SIM is more powerful than a satellite link, and it sends more data out to the hospitals, hopefully being used more intelligently. And we had attention on the move and data going back to the hospital, images going to the practitioner in the hospital so that they can interact and bring a patient in more safely. Looking at the trends in the last 9 years I've been in healthcare. Before that I was a R&D engineer in Microsoft. It'll take another 10 years in my books to get to a level where we say that this is a hospital on the move. It's today a ER room, a small ER room on the move. And the next part of the journey, every one of us done that. We thought, telepresence is the next big thing. I'm talking 10 years ago. Telepresence is the big thing, let's do it. We all did it. So we were beaming live surgeries and we were having conferences of doctors around the world, and they were consulting with each other, and everybody was gung-ho. We have achieved connectivity on the internet, on the fly. And yet we realized it's not even tip of the iceberg. Coming to the next, the ICU was looking for a change. I visited one of Philips' clients last year to see this in action. It was amazing. I don't know how many IT people here, but if an IT person is here, they know the power of NOC or the National or Network Operating Systems or National Operating Center, and they remotely monitor everything from one single site. Even if the doctor at the site goes off to a snooze, the alarms which ring, typically what happens in an ICU today? The patient has various sensors across his body for measuring whatever his poor chap is suffering from. And then the nurse would hear a beep or an alarm and then would come and see, tongue, and go back. Whether that's been actually addressed or not, we don't know. And if the beep is going on too often, nurse will go and shake the junior resident and say, Dekha, as in the Kerala. And the poor chap would do something and the patient would get some relief and the beeps again go back. So this was the next step which was coming in, because this was making sure that the nurse and the junior doctor doing the remote ICU was actually working. With the remote centers, the doctors can call up the supposed ICU, which could be anywhere in the country or the world, which can be monitored now. It's beautifully connected, and the cost of doing the ICU has come down because of this. Tremendous, because the number of doctors needed to man the ICU has come down. And this is a discussion I've had with a lot of healthcare practitioners. The future generation of the hospitals will see minimal patients coming in. Only patients who will need admission and treatment or surgeries. the serious variety, not for OP consults more. Today, the hospitals are flooded with OP consults rather than anything else. Going ahead, I see more OP consults happening from home rather than that sensor in IoT is going to actually bring healthcare back to home. And the other thing is psychological on the patient. He or she is at his home, the environment they know best. The environment they feel more secure. In a hospital bed, although you might put a lovely painting around them or give them a sea view or a nice sun view, whatever, it's not their home. They are feeling, मैं कब घर जा सकता हूँ या घर जा सकती हूँ. And at times you have to tell the patient, no, you can't, because we don't have methods to measure you at home. That's Dr. Gupta's hospital I'm talking, the hospital he was mentioning. I was there last month in Delhi. And believe me, I had a horrendous experience. All the treating doctor for my uncle was a senior from my school. I still had a horrendous experience. The poor chap had to be restrained because he wanted to go home. The other thing which is coming out, clinicians have to think differently because they're going to manage the patient from their office, but patient is not physically in front of them. How do you cajole the patient to take his medicine is going to be a bigger challenge than what it is today. What is going to happen? We're going to integrate all the devices we use today, especially for elderly care, and send the data to somewhere on the cloud to the doctor. Now, this is overload of information for the doctor. So the other change, this is the talk I gave last year at Dubai on change. Doctors, how do we change the thinking process? Now, data is going to overflow in a hospital and the practitioner. The whole environment of the hospital has to change. The thought process that I have a patient, my revenue model is going to go home rather than be in front of my desk. The biggest change is he's next to his loved ones, I would say. And it will be some internet gateway he has at home, which will be beaming the data out. Today also, we have some critical cardiology patients who wear that thing on their chest for 24 hours, they're sending data us. But today the environment is not ready for the doctor to analyze the data when it's coming in. So all that thought has to change. The environment, the ecosystem has to recalibrate itself. It's going to be a game changer, whether if the government brings in EHR standards, it'll be a faster game changer than slower. This is the big view tomorrow, which is going to happen. This is how care is going to be delivered. The elderly lady sitting at home, she has all these devices going back to the care provider, including rehab. The alerts going to the doctors, the nurses reacting to those alerts for the patient, whether it's sugar levels going up, whether the doctor needs to change the medicine or get the pharmacy to deliver medicine at home or whatever. This has to change today or tomorrow. And it'll be in the next few years. We'll all be living to see that, hopefully. This is going to be the future of OP visits. In some format, I don't know how will it look, but this is my perception of things. And we are all moving there slowly and steadily. But this is going to be the biggest challenge, the rehab part, because today that rehab specialist holds the patient to move. Tomorrow, that holding might be missing. So how do they deliver is going to be the bigger challenge. This is follow-up for various surgeries we do, cardiac to orthopedic.
You expand this from a force multiplier into rural.
Yeah.
There, I think maybe more than tele, you could have,
You will. I see more rehab people coming out of colleges today than when I graduated in '89. And which country is taking the cake in this? Not India. Any guess? South Africa.
So how do you create patient awareness and proactive kind of from the patient himself in this system?
That is going to be a challenge. I don't deny that, because we are monitoring them and we are talking to them regularly, and it's going to be a challenge in the doctor to make them aware of their problems so that they adhere to the regime or the protocols which doctor wants them to follow. That will be another human angle to it, because I'm not saying this is going to change overnight. This is going to take next 5 to 7 years. Today also, half the time when a newborn baby is born, the firstborn baby in any family, half the time the family calls, "Aaj wo raat ko ro raha tha, kya karen?" He doesn't physically go to the doctor to talk about his child. So that thinking will come back to elderly as well. Or, there is an elderly in the home, elderly who's seen a few grandchildren. They said, he's feeling a little gaseous. Something of that sort is going to evolve for the next generation as well. The biggest risk, this is what I read, and I'm a voracious reader. Today's Fitbits measure my steps, my heartbeat, etc., a few things. But the challenge is tomorrow. They're not going to measure your heartbeats and steps. They're going to be able to measure your emotional state. And how the cybercrime is going to evolve to do that, I don't know. I'm scared of this. This is the biggest scare we all have, and we are living in it today. This is right on your wrist, which is being hacked. There was a video which I saw from, I don't know who, Philips or Siemens. Pacemaker was hacked. Pacemakers talk to your phones too, these days, the new ones, which are under R&D right now. Continuing on the topic, this is what is happening around the world. OPD scheduling is going away from that call to the doctor's office, and which Dr. Gupta also touched upon briefly, saying that it's going away. We don't want that human connection there as well, because the patient should be able to book their appointments on their own. And this is the system which we are going to roll out in the next few, actually, months. December being a low month for me, I take vacations. Otherwise, this would have been done December 30th. Challenge here, which we faced in the earlier generation, is no-shows. Let's say Rajesh Batra wants to visit the doctor on 23rd of November. He will book a slot in the morning and evening. If I can't come out in the morning from my work, I'll go in the evening. And evening maybe phas gaya, that also. So the inventory is lost to the other person who needs an appointment. So we're looking at how to address that challenge. Do we take money in upfront, or do we do some kind of thing, is the thought which is delaying that, because we were looking at no-shows and loss of inventory for the next patient. Because supposing Vikram needs an appointment with the same doctor, but I have booked 2 slots. And Vikram, when he's on the web, he says, "Mere liye to aaj slot nahi hai," and he needs it more than me. So we're looking at all the permutation, combination, how do we make it happen? And the portal is supposed to be completely transparent to the patient, so that he or she should be able to get their complete health record for themselves only. And security is going to be a big, big thing. And not only that, we're looking at the future. This is not happening tomorrow, definitely, in our hospital. Things like Watson, which have cognitive learning inbuilt. And I know a few hospitals, one hospital in Bangalore which has deployed it for oncology. And they are using this to do a lot of research in oncology. And they're spending a small fortune to get that data out. And that's happening today, not tomorrow. We want the patient to feel free to do whatever they want on the portal and yet be secured and do appointment, first-time patient registrations and the works. Today, we don't allow first-time registrations because we don't know how they'll fill it up. We're now linking it with Aadhaar. So I had a meeting with the Aadhaar authority last week. We're going to, like your banks today, we're going to integrate Aadhaar into our systems, so that you need to put in your Aadhaar number and your physical fingerprint and be done with. So that the data, what you fill, is what Aadhaar authority has. Just some more snapshots of it. I'll move on. And okay. Now, we typically have queues for people who come in to pay for their visit. We want to move it to the doctor's clinic. They should be coming to a kiosk kind of a thing, confirm they're in, pay there, and move to that. And then they will be able to see their name and number outside the doctor's clinic. And not only these large displays, we will all, I don't know, okay, this is the doctor's view. We will be able to, put some alerts out there for, let's say, if it's a chikungunya season or dengue season, alerts for them to be cautious about. Or if it's let's say, a oncology visit, some do's and don'ts for those patients. A kind of FAQs running, and, or if there is a camp happening, to make that aware, we're doing a patient camp in this area today or tomorrow, and things like that. So these will be more focused on those patients. This is the doctor's view. He knows that, once a doctor comes in, his appointment schedule, or if there's a rescheduling, the system has an algorithm built in to reschedule the patients. Supposing the doctor was supposed to be in at 10 and his OPD starts at 10:30, the doctor itself comes at 10:40. The alerts will go out from the system. This is analytics for the hospital management. How many visits and how many repeats, because we have this policy of within 24 hours no charge, and if within 15 days 50% charge. So all that has to be seen. Why is it happening for a doctor, or is it a patient specific problem? As usual, the power is in your hands now, and we are moving it there as well. So this is the biggest challenge I'm having as an IT person, not from patient perspective or a doctor's perspective. Security. Androids, unfortunately, we had a few incidents where Android phones were more susceptible to hacks than the iOS ones. And we could plug them in time, but tomorrow I don't know whether I'll be there or not. Because technology is changing so rapidly that we have to be more aware of security than not today. This is the kiosk which I was talking to you about. And the patient can look it up from their bedside if they want to, or their phone, whatever side you want to. And the doctor at the end would be on the side for you. This is a thing which we tested last year. Unfortunately, we did a pilot with Avaya, our network service provider, and we did a lot of pilots, but they were not ready to do a commercial rollout for us. They took the data, the product is supposed to be out next year. So we partnered with another company now to roll it out. We want to make it, as my friend says, it'll be a Star Wars movement for healthcare. I told him no. Mumbai International Airport already has deployed it. And if you have the Mumbai International Airport app, you can find your gate through your phone. What it uses is a beacon built into your phone and the small beacons which are deployed across and the Wi-Fi access points. Not only I want to deploy this for pathfinding. Let's say a patient walks in, he pays up at the reception and to the orthopedic clinic or the neurology clinic, because hospitals are a maze. Whether you have tapes lying on the floor, which happens in my case, patients still get lost and they get overwhelmed with the traffic of other people. So the app will drive them to the doctor's clinic. The moment they reach the doctor's clinic, I don't want them to go to the CC or the reception desk and say, I've arrived. This will itself check them in as arrived. And the payment from the system checked whether they paid for the visit or not. And if they've paid, they don't need to worry. They need to sit and the TV will take over. And we're going to follow in first out, not the sequence of appointments which was given. Because if a patient comes late, obviously this patient should be able to go home first, not wait for the other patient because he was late or she was late. We want to bring in the doctor to a little more, little more control, because the doctors are, you know what I'm saying, an animal of their own variety. This will be their attendance system as well. Although they're full-time employees of my hospital, they can't run away, but still attendance. So they will mark their attendance walking in with this, because the employee card will be linked. Or the phone. We haven't decided the modality. That's the reason of the delay of rollout, etc. Both the things can work, the card as well as the mobile phone. And once they leave the hospital, I will mark them, thank you for the day. The patient gets the benefit, biggest benefit, because they are able to get into the doctor's office without any problems, and they don't have to go and meet to the receptionist and say, Mera number kab aayega, mera number kab aayega. They are looking at their real-time data, which is happening. And the other thing is we want to see what displays we want to put, the name. And half the time people don't want their names to be displayed. Telephone number can be leaked. So all those things are being worked out. So the technology is ready. What to display is the challenge now. So we have all those permutation combinations being discussed. And some of the ladies have a problem of displaying name. Wo chhedega mere ko baad mein. And believe me, we have funny conversations in the hospital when we deploy technologies. At times I scratch my head, am I working for a YouTube kind of a company or a hospital? And believe me, the doctors want it. They say, I don't have to depend on the CCO outside or the receptionist. We call them customer care officers. So I'm used to CCO term. That, half the time she might be talking to somebody and she's not looking at my patients coming in and going out. She's missed one patient. My patient was delayed. Whole 9 yards of that thing of, unnecessary fights or things which happen at a doctor's reception will go away, because it's become transparent completely. That's about it.